Hi everyone, my name's Pan and welcome to another edition of Bluebird Corner, the Cardiff City fans podcast. If you do subscribe in the month of July, you will be in the draw for a gift card, which is £250 in value. You can use a number of pubs and restaurants in South Wales. We did it last month for our launch and was really a big success. And we kindly, our sponsors, Top Tier Cleaners, they're giving us another gift card. So thank you for them. But yeah, it's free to subscribe. And obviously, like I said, you just click the button and we will put you in the draw for, which will be, I think the 1st of August, we'll do that draw. So tonight's pod is, I want to talk about a player that myself and a few of my friends who's big City fans and other fans who've contacted me are really, really looking forward to seeing this season. I mean, we haven't signed anyone as yet, so some fans are a little bit edgy, a little bit flat, like myself, a little bit nervous in terms of how we're going to perform in League One. Bear in mind, we were the worst team in the Championship, leaky defence, not enough goals, and in effect, this is the same side, bar a few players who've gone, either on loan or left the club. Or Dowda was probably one of our best players, signed for the Hungarian club. So we're definitely, in my view, weaker than we were last season. So, a little bit nervous what to expect. But one player, as I said, that really I'm excited to see, and I'm hoping he does actually play in the first game, is a lad that's been at Cardiff City since the age of 7. He's from Caerphilly, the same as where Aaron Ramsey was born. And that player is Dylan Lawler, the 6'2" centre-back who has been captain of Wales under-16s and Wales under-19s, and actually scored the goal that took Wales to the under-17 Euro finals in 2023, which is the first time that's happened since, well, that's the first time it's happened actually at that level. So that was a massive achievement with players like Ian Carey, Lewis Benjamin, Charlie Crew, and Louis Giles was in that squad as well. So that was a big achievement, and Dylan Lawler was part of that. So yeah, Dylan Lawler, he made his debut, as City fans remember, probably in February last year against Villa Park in the FA Cup, and I think undoubtedly he was the best City player on the pitch that day. Obviously, it was a disappointing result, but, he's not. And again, the great thing about Dylan Lawler, from what we've seen in pre-season, I've seen a couple of games, is that he's not just a very good defender, but he's someone who looks cultured on the ball and, almost European-like, in terms of his ability and touch, and some of his passing is like a quality midfielder. And that's really something that City fans haven't seen from a local lad for a long time. If you go back, since I supported the club, early 80s, we look at the Lee Badleys, Gareth Abrams, Phil Dwyers, Terry Boyles, Jason Perry's, none of those really, based on what we've seen of Dylan Lawler so far, have the qualities that Lawler has. Some are very good at defending, some are good in the air. But, he seems to have the full package as a central defender, Dylan. And, I think I'm really excited to see him. I'm already thinking that this could be our Danny Gabberton, if you like, in terms of the quality for a lad of 19. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. But, obviously, if you whatever age it is, if you're good enough, it doesn't matter, does it? What age you are. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I wanted to talk about the options in central defence and whether, I think with Fish is going to be our main central defence. I think we all agree on that. He was one of our better players, last season, along with Salic and O'Dowda. But who's going to play with him? There will be some new signings coming in. I would expect left back definitely to be a position that we do recruit. A player, I think Louis Giles possibly go on loan, and obviously with Bacon there, we need more options, especially with O'Dowda going to Hungary. So yeah, looking at the central defence, if you compare Lawler at the moment to Darland, I think most City fans would agree we would rather see Lawler in that central defence. I think Darland, when he first came to the club and played against the Jacks at their place, he definitely looked $1 million. But since then, he I don't think you'd give a pound for him really, and that's not over egging it. It's saying he really hasn't looked. Well, I don't know what's happened. There's been a couple of games. I think was it when he I don't know if he came on as a sub in one home game, and he had the ball in defence. He took so long. By the time he made a decision to kick the ball, their striker sneaked in behind, and then Darlin went to kick the ball, kicked the player, and I think it was a penalty or sending off, whatever it was. But he was really poor. I think he's done a few things like that. He's been slow on the ball. I'm hoping that after taking time maybe to settle in, that he is this season a lot better. But I do think that Lawler would be ahead of Darlins. And then if you look at the other options we've got, Perry NG, who I really like it. When I've seen him at central defence, I don't like him at right back. I don't rate the guy in terms of his defensive duties. Didn't have a good season last season. Out of position, slow. But in central defence, I think he would offer something different to Fish, and he is good at set pieces. So that's an option. Bagan has played central defence. He looked quite effective, I think. And then you've got Chambers, but Chambers for me isn't a central defender, or his best position is CDM. But obviously Wintel's looked quite promising pre-season. Will Chambers be there? I've mentioned in the past, 33 grand a week, really, for League One. We have got an option there with Wintel. We could bring someone else in on loan. I'm not saying that Chambers hasn't got quality, but I don't think he's a central defender, or he hasn't played well for a central defence. So, we have got other options in central defence, but I think Dylan Lawler personally should start against Peterborough a week Saturday. I'd be really excited to see him start. City fans love to see their local players play, and certainly we're not the type of fans who get on their backs, especially young players. So we would definitely look to encourage a player like that. We've always been supportive of our local players, I think, and give him a little bit of slack. So yeah, he will make the odd mistake, but I think Dylan Lawler should be in that central defence against Peterborough. He's, as I said, we can only go on what we've seen in pre-season, but he seems ready for a start for City. And, I think a lot of fans like myself are a little bit nervous about what to expect this season. I told my friend who sort of does the podcast with me, and he does a lot of the background stuff. And, if you look at our side last season, obviously we were the worst side in the Championship. We had a really leaky defence. We didn't score enough goals. We changed our defence 13 times last season. Not sure 100% about the goalkeeper's position. Alnwick's good at shot stopping, and with the ball at his feet. Hovarth's good at shot stopping. He's pretty terrible with the ball at his feet, but they're both vulnerable as well for certain situations. That's why we're conceding as well. It's not just our defence. So they've got to be accountable as well. And as I said, I'm not too keen on NG at right back. I'm a little bit nervous about left back. Over the season, we need certainly some strength there. But yeah, I think, going into the season with Dylan Lawler as our central defender would excite City fans. And it would be great to see him, make his home debut for the first game of the season. So, yeah, it'd be good to hear what you think in terms of who you think should partner Fish for the first game. Is there anyone that I've mentioned or not mentioned maybe you'd consider that would be the good option to be with Fish? But I think Dylan Lawler, is ready. And it'll be really good for not just for Cardiff City, but for Wales, hopefully, to have Dylan, another player, come through, really. So yeah, I think that that would be a good option. As I said, we've been doing these podcasts now for a few weeks. We've had over 20,000 views, which is really great. So thanks for all your support. And we're doing a podcast every Tuesday about a previous season. So we're going to do the 88-89 season next Tuesday. Next Thursday, we're going to do a comprehensive review of the League One, all the teams. We've done a lot of research about, each club in terms of signings, etc. And we're going to sort of do a start at 24, moving up through the league to who's going to finish first in League One. So you might be a little bit surprised or shocked with certain clubs and where we've got them, including Cardiff City. But yeah, we'll do that podcast next Thursday. So thanks very much for all your support in watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.